In 2018, 22-year-old Anna Kovalenko, a resident of a small town in Ohio, made a decision that changed her life. Anna, who worked as a receptionist at a local coffee shop, was actively corresponding on social media with a young man named Kyle Wilson. Their communication began on one of the popular dating platforms, where they quickly found a common language, exchanging messages about music, movies, and dreams of traveling. Kyle, a 25-year-old resident of Austin, Texas, seemed sincere and open to Anna. He talked about his work in IT, his love for the local barbecue culture, and how he dreamed of one day showing her the beauty of his state. After several months of correspondence and video calls, Kyle invited Anna to come to him in Texas. Anna, despite the warnings of her friends and family, was enthusiastic. She saw this not only as a chance to meet the man she had feelings for, but also as a chance to escape the routine of her small town. Anna's parents, concerned about her decision, tried to dissuade their daughter from going, pointing out that she barely knew Kyle. However, Anna was confident that the texts and phone calls gave her enough reason to trust him. She began planning the trip, bought a bus ticket to Austin, and booked a return ticket in case something went wrong. In early July 2018, Anna packed a suitcase, took her laptop, phone, and some cash. She left her parents a note with Kyle's address and promised to check in regularly. On July 3rd, she boarded a bus from Cleveland to Austin. The trip would take about 24 hours, with several transfers. Anna texted friends about the trip, seeming nervous but happy. She wrote about imagining walking through Austin's parks and meeting Kyle for the first time. On July 4th, Independence Day, Anna arrived in Austin. She texted her mother to let her know she had arrived safely and shared a photo from the bus station. Kyle was there, as promised, in his car. Anna texted her friend, "He's everything I thought he would be. Everything is going to be awesome." After that, she stopped calling and texting. After 2 days of not hearing from her, her parents became concerned. They tried to contact Kyle through social media, but his accounts were blocked or deleted. By July 7th, Anna's family had contacted the Ohio State Police, who in turn contacted the Austin Police Department. Thus began an investigation that uncovered a chain of events that led to the tragedy. This story will present facts gathered from police reports, witness statements, and case materials. Anna Kovalenko's story is not only a story of personal tragedy, but also of how trust built in the digital world can lead to unpredictable consequences. The following chapters will examine the circumstances of her trip, the actions of Kyle Wilson, and the work of law enforcement that led to the crime being solved. Anna Kovalenko and Kyle Wilson started chatting in October 2017 on a dating app. Anna joined the platform to expand her social circle, as there were few opportunities to meet new people in her hometown in Ohio. She created a profile with a few photos and a brief description of her interests: indie rock music, books on psychology, and dreams of traveling. Kyle, whose profile was minimalist, caught her attention with a short message: "I love the National too. What's your favorite album?" Their correspondence began with a discussion of music, and then moved on to more personal topics. Kyle introduced himself as a 25-year-old freelance programmer in Austin. He wrote that he grew up in Texas, went to college there, and now works on apps. In his messages, he shared stories about his life, hiking with friends, local Texas cuisine, and his favorite nights watching old movies. Anna, in turn, talked about her job at a coffee shop, her life in Ohio, and her desire to one day move to a big city. Their conversation quickly evolved into daily texting, and within a month, they began video calling. According to Anna's friend Marina, the girl was charmed by Kyle. She found him intelligent, considerate, and sincere. Kyle often sent Anna photos from Austin, views of the city, sunsets over the Colorado River, street festivals. He promised to show her all these places if she came. Anna saved these photos and shared them with friends, telling them how she wanted to see Texas with her own eyes. However, Marina later recalled that some details in Kyle's stories raised questions. For example, he rarely talked about his family or friends, and his social media accounts contained little personal information. Anna, however, did not attach any importance to this, believing that Kyle simply valued privacy. By March 2018, their communication had become more serious. Kyle began talking about the future, hinting that he wanted to build a relationship with Anna. He invited her to come to Austin for a few weeks so they could get to know each other better. Anna was hesitant, as she had no experience traveling long distances and her finances were limited. Kyle insisted, promising to cover some of the expenses and provide her with a place to stay. In April, Anna made her decision and began saving for a ticket. She told her parents about her plans, but they expressed concern, pointing out that she only knew Kyle online. Anna assured them that she would be careful and continued planning for the trip. By June 2018, Anna had finally decided to go. She bought a bus ticket, as it was the cheapest option, and agreed on the dates of her arrival with Kyle. He sent her the address of his house in Austin and promised to meet her at the bus station. Anna sent her a screenshot of a text message where Kyle wrote, "I'm already counting the days until you arrive." She was full of hope, unaware that her decision would lead to a chain of events that would later be investigated by the police. The next chapter will examine the circumstances of her arrival in Austin and her first days in the city. On July 4th, 2018, Anna Kovalenko arrived in Austin, Texas, after a nearly 24-hour bus ride from Ohio. She got off at the downtown bus station around 2 p.m. local time. According to surveillance footage, Anna was wearing jeans, a white t-shirt, and carrying a small backpack and a rolling suitcase. She took a photo of the bus station and sent it to her mother with the caption, "I'm here. Everything is fine." Shortly after, she texted her friend Marina that Kyle was waiting for her in the parking lot. Kyle Wilson met Anna in his car, a gray 2015 Ford F-150 pickup truck. According to the messages Anna sent to her friends, Kyle was polite and friendly. He helped her load her things into the car and suggested stopping at a cafe for a bite to eat after the long drive. Anna agreed, and they headed to a small diner nearby. They spent about an hour there, then drove to Kyle's house, located in a middle-class area of the Austin suburbs. Anna sent Marina a message, "Everything is like a dream, he's cool. We're at his house, going for a walk soon." That was the last message she sent. Kyle's house, a one-story building with a small yard, had been rented by him for several months before Anna arrived. Neighbors later told police that Kyle was a reclusive person, rarely socializing with others and not a party person. On the day of Anna's arrival, none of the neighbors noticed anything unusual. One neighbor recalled seeing Kyle's pickup truck pull into the garage around 4 p.m., but she didn't pay attention. Over the next 2 days, Anna did not contact anyone. Her phone, investigators later determined, was active until the evening of July 4th, after which it stopped registering online. Anna's parents, concerned about her silence, tried calling, but the calls went to voicemail. They also sent several messages to Kyle via instant messengers, but received no response. On July 6th, Anna's mother, Elena Kovalenko, contacted her daughter's friend, Marina, to find out if Anna had any other plans that she had not told the family about. Marina confirmed that Anna had planned to spend time with Kyle and did not mention any other intentions. On July 7th, Anna's parents contacted the Cleveland police, reporting their daughter missing. Since Anna was in Texas, the case was turned over to the Austin Police Department. The police began an investigation by contacting the bus station and requesting surveillance footage. They also located Kyle's address, which Anna had given in a note she had left for her parents. On July 8th, the police arrived at Kyle's home to interview him. Kyle confirmed that Anna had visited him, but claimed that she had left on July 5th, saying she wanted to travel around Texas on her own. He claimed not to know where she was going. The police recorded his statement, but had no basis for further action at that time. The next chapter will cover the initial steps of the investigation and the circumstances that aroused the investigators' suspicions. On July 8, 2018, the Austin Police Department launched a formal investigation into the disappearance of Anna Kovalenko. The case was initially classified as a missing person, as there was no direct evidence of a crime. Police arrived at Kyle Wilson's home and interviewed him in the presence of 2 officers. Kyle repeated his version of events. Anna came to visit him on July 4th. They spent the day together, and on July 5th, she allegedly decided to travel around Texas on her own. He claimed that he drove her to the bus station early in the morning and had no contact with her after that. Kyle gave police access to his phone, which contained text messages from Anna confirming her arrival, but there were no records after July 4th. Police recorded his statement and requested data from the bus station's surveillance cameras to verify his words. Investigators also contacted Anna's family in Ohio. The parents provided copies of their daughter's correspondence with Kyle, as well as her last messages to friends. Of particular interest was a message from Anna to her friend Marina, where she wrote that she was at Kyle's house and planned to go for a walk with him. This contradicted Kyle's claim that Anna left the next day. Police requested the location of Anna's phone. The phone operator reported that her phone was active until 10:43 p.m. on July 4th, after which it lost signal. The last geolocation indicated the area where Kyle's house was located. On July 9th, police obtained surveillance footage from the bus station for July 5th. Neither Anna nor Kyle's pickup truck were visible in the footage. This raised investigators' initial suspicions, as Kyle insisted that this was where he had taken Anna. Officers decided to interview Kyle again and requested a warrant to search his home. A judge granted the warrant on July 10th, citing inconsistencies in Kyle's account and a lack of corroboration for his version of events. On the morning of July 11th, police arrived at Kyle's home with a warrant. Kyle was home and agreed to cooperate. During the search, investigators found several important clues. In the garage where Kyle's pickup was parked, traces of stains were found that were later identified as human blood. Samples were sent for DNA analysis. Also found in the house were Anna's personal belongings, her backpack, laptop, and several items of clothing that, judging by photographs, she had brought with her. Kyle claimed that Anna left the items because she planned to return, but he could not explain why he had not mentioned this earlier. At the same time, the police interviewed Kyle's neighbors. One of them reported hearing loud conversations coming from Kyle's house on the evening of July 4th, but did not attach any importance to it, since it was the time of the 4th of July celebration and there was noise everywhere. Another neighbor remembered seeing Kyle driving his pickup truck late at night on July 4th and returning only in the early morning. These testimonies increased suspicion, and the police decided to detain Kyle for further questioning. On July 12th, he was charged with perjury, and the investigation was upgraded to a criminal case. The next chapter will discuss the results of the evidence examination and further investigative actions aimed at establishing Anna's fate. After Kyle Wilson was arrested on July 12, 2018, Austin police focused their efforts on analyzing evidence collected from his home and his movements on the night of July 4th to 5th. Blood stains found in the garage were confirmed to belong to Anna Kovalenko. DNA testing took several days, but the results received on July 15th became the key piece of evidence linking Kyle to Anna's disappearance. Additionally, police found Anna's passport, wallet, and bank cards in a backpack found in the house, disproving Kyle's theory that Anna had gone traveling on her own. Investigators conducted a detailed examination of Kyle's pickup truck. Microscopic traces of blood were found in the trunk, which also matched Anna's DNA. Experts noted that the car had been thoroughly washed, but traces of blood remained in hard-to-reach places. Police requested data from the pickup's GPS navigator and traffic camera footage to reconstruct Kyle's route on the night of July 4th to 5th. Analysis showed that at 11:17 p.m., Kyle left his home and headed toward a rural area south of Austin. Cameras showed his pickup at several intersections, and the GPS indicated that he stopped near an abandoned field in Travis County around 1:30 a.m. Kyle returned home at 3:45 a.m. Based on this information, the police organized a search in the specified area. On July 16th, a search team consisting of officers and dog handlers arrived at a field located 40 kilometers from Austin. After several hours of work, the dogs found a place where the earth had recently been dug up. During the excavation, the body of a young woman was found, wrapped in plastic film. A forensic examination conducted on July 17th confirmed that the body was that of Anna Kovalenko. The cause of death was strangulation, and signs of a struggle were found on the body, including abrasions and bruises on the arms and neck. The time of death was determined as the evening of July 4th, between 9 o'clock and 2300 hours. Kyle, who was in custody, was questioned on July 18th after receiving the results of the autopsy. Under pressure from the evidence, he partially admitted his guilt. He stated that on the evening of July 4th, he and Anna had an argument that escalated into a physical conflict. According to him, Anna allegedly attacked him, and he, defending himself, accidentally strangled her. Kyle claimed that he panicked and decided to dispose of the body by taking it to a field. However, investigators noted inconsistencies in his story. The nature of Anna's injuries indicated premeditated violence, not self-defense. In addition, the lack of signs of a struggle in the house, except for the garage, indicated that the conflict may have been planned. Police also looked into Kyle's digital footprints as part of the investigation. An examination of his laptop revealed that he had been searching for information on how to cover up the crime before Anna arrived. This led to the prosecution bringing a charge of premeditated murder. The next chapter will examine the trial, the public reaction, and the impact of the case on Anna's family. Kyle Wilson's trial began in March 2019 in the U.S. District Court in Austin, Texas. Kyle was charged with first-degree murder, concealment of evidence, and making a false statement. Prosecutors based their case on forensic evidence, witness statements, and digital traces found on Kyle's devices. Key evidence included Anna Kovalenko's DNA found in Kyle's garage and pickup truck, traffic camera footage that confirmed his route on the night of the murder, and an autopsy that indicated foul play. Additionally, Kyle's searches for ways to conceal the crime before Anna arrived convinced the jury of foul play. Kyle's lawyers tried to build a defense of manslaughter. They argued that an argument between Kyle and Anna got out of hand and that he acted in a state of panic. However, this theory was refuted. The signs of a struggle on Anna's body, the lack of injuries on Kyle, and his actions after the murder, thoroughly cleaning the car and hiding the body, pointed to a planned crime. The prosecutor also presented correspondence between Kyle and Anna in which he deliberately created an image of a trustworthy person in order to lure her to Austin. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Anna's parents, Elena and Mikhail Kovalenko, attended most of the hearings, having flown in from Ohio. They testified about their daughter's character, her travel plans, and the family's concerns about her decision to go to Kyle. Anna's friend Marina also testified, describing Anna's correspondence and her expectations of meeting Kyle. This testimony emphasized that Anna trusted Kyle and did not expect danger. On March 30th, 2019, the jury returned a verdict. Kyle Wilson was found guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without parole. In his closing argument, the prosecutor noted that the Anna Kovalenko case was an example of the dangers of trusting people known only through the internet. The case received widespread media attention. Several Austin and Ohio news outlets published articles highlighting the risks of online dating. Discussions began on social media about the need for better safety on dating platforms, including more thorough user verification. Anna's family created a foundation in her memory aimed at educating young people about safe internet use. The foundation held workshops at schools and colleges about the signs of manipulative behavior in online communication. For Anna's parents, the verdict brought no relief. Elena Kovalenko told a local newspaper that the loss of their daughter left a void in their lives that could never be filled. They continued to blame themselves for not being able to dissuade Anna from going. The next chapter will present conclusions and reflections on the case, as well as its impact on society and approaches to security in the digital age. The Anna Kovalenko case, which resulted in the conviction of Kyle Wilson, left a lasting mark on the public consciousness. The story of a young woman who traveled to another state to meet a man she knew only online and ended up murdered highlighted the vulnerability of people in the digital age. The investigation and trial revealed how Kyle exploited Anna's trust to lure her to Austin, sparking widespread discussion and debate about the safety of online dating. Austin police, summing up the investigation, noted several key factors that made it possible to solve the crime. First, the prompt response of Anna's family and their appeal to law enforcement agencies accelerated the start of the search. Second, modern technology, GPS data, surveillance footage, and digital trace analysis played a decisive role in establishing Kyle's route and finding Anna's body. Forensic examination and DNA analysis provided irrefutable evidence that excluded the possibility of Kyle's acquittal. The case also exposed security gaps in dating platforms. In 2019, several consumer protection organizations called on app developers to strengthen user verification measures. In response, some platforms have implemented additional features, such as profile verification via documents and warnings about the risks of meeting strangers. However, these measures remain voluntary, and many users continue to trust virtual interlocutors without sufficient verification. For the community, Anna's case became a reminder to be cautious online. The Kovalenko family, through the foundation they created, continued to work to inform young people. Their seminars, held in schools in Ohio and Texas, teach teens and young adults to recognize the signs of manipulation and avoid risky situations. The foundation also supports families who have lost loved ones to crimes related to online communication. Anna Kovalenko's story not only exposed one family's tragedy, but also showed how the technology that facilitates human connection can be used for harm. The case became part of a larger conversation about the balance between the openness of the digital world and the protection of personal safety. In memory of Anna, her family and friends continue to share her story, hoping that it will help others avoid a similar fate.